There, folks, look, this is the way it goes, doesn't it? Kids just eat so much popcorn at the movies, they get buckets of the stuff. Well, Sue Rad, our nutritionist, only gave me a little bowl. Why? Dr. David Katz has invented a new word, Oblivobesity. Why? Because findings have indicated that children are obese, aren't they?
Well, there is a great concern at the moment, particularly in developed countries, that many parents underestimate the weight status of their children.
So parents are just completely oblivious to how heavy their children really are.
That's right.
Okay.
So, you know, we've had studies from Australia, New Zealand, the Pacific Islands, all around the world, but the latest research from the UK shows that 1 in 3 parents actually underestimate the weight status of their child. And a couple of big studies in the US show that about 95 to 97% of parents underestimate, or at least think their child looks just about right when they're overweight, and more than 70% think their child looks right when they're actually technically obese. And obesity is a category of being overweight.
So 95% of parents get this wrong. They think their children are okay, but they're not. Okay, now their kids grow out of it and there's lots of excuses of why. I mean, why is it a problem? I mean,
well, it's a huge problem, James, potentially, because being overweight, particularly when you're very, very young, is really a canary in the mine, so to speak, for chronic disease. So kids today are presenting early with things like high blood pressure, high cholesterol, fatty liver,
high blood pressure,
gallstones, and even what we used to call 30 years ago when I started studying at university, we used to call it adult onset diabetes. We don't call it adult onset anymore. We have to call it type 2 because children are getting it early, and excessive weight is driving that, excessive body fat.
Well, Sue, I'm sure there's many folks that are going to say, and like you and I, no parent wants to hurt their child. So are parents just ignorant or...?
Well, I think there's multiple things that are going on at the same time. A key thing is that many parents think, well, they're just going to grow out of it. It's just puppy fat.
Well, they do, don't they?
Well, they don't. The data actually shows that many kids who are overweight, the chances of them staying overweight are very high. So if you're overweight as a child, there's a higher risk you're going to be overweight as an adult. But
then parents just look around and say, well, my kid's normal.
Well, that's another really good point, James, because what's happening is that the average in the population for weight status is increasing. So it's becoming increasingly difficult as a parent to actually determine if your child is overweight or of a healthy weight. So that's another key problem. And then, of course, we've got in certain ethnic population groups the belief that being a little bit more chubby is actually healthy. It's good for you. So he's looking healthy. So there's lots of reasons. But another key point is that some parents are actually potentially deluded. They think things are okay, or they might be in denial. You see, if they had to change things to accommodate their child's overweight status, that usually means they're going to have to change things for themselves, because you've got to walk the walk. You can't just talk about it. You've got to start changing things for everybody, including starting from you.
So if a parent wants to move from ignorance and oblivion to knowledge, I mean, what do they do about it?
Well,
changing a child's hard.
It can be. The first step, I believe, that's really important is go and see your doctor. Go and see a GP and have a look at whether technically the child is actually overweight or of a sensible weight. So, for example, a doctor might look at what's called a BMI chart and plot on the chart the child's BMI and look at the percentiles. So kids should be somewhere between the 5th and the 85th percentile. If they're over 85th percentile, they're overweight. If they're over the 95th percentile, they're actually heading into what we technically call obesity.
But the good news is the doctor will tell you what that is.
That's right, and then we'll encourage you to take some positive action. So you shouldn't be ostracising the child or putting them on any crazy diet. What you should be doing is changing the lifestyle of the entire family, because it's usually a family problem. So we should be looking at ways to eat healthier as a family. So, for example, if your plates at home are very large, or even larger than that, you may
take a smaller plate.
Take a smaller plate, like in the good old days, okay?
And she wouldn't give me a whole...
sizes.
she didn't give me a bucket of popcorn,
You can have a bucket of popcorn as long as you make it at home and you use olive oil, but not the packet microwave popcorn, because that's full of hidden trans fats. So change their snacks. Give them freshly made popcorn or corn on the cob, or fresh pieces of fruit, or cut up some veggie sticks for dips if they need to snack. Many kids actually don't need to snack, but we've taught them to snack and encourage them to eat between meals, which of course then dampens their appetite for the main meal, which usually means that's where you get most of the goodness. So, yes, see a GP, start changing the whole family lifestyle, get everyone healthy. Defocus, you know, from looking just at the child, but look at improving everyone's health habits. And finally, if you need more detailed health, go and seek an expert on food and nutrition, such as a registered dietitian or an accredited practicing dietitian, and they can then work with you on your family meals and menus and teach you lots of little tips and tricks, and everyone's going to be healthier for it.
Thank you so much, Sue. Oh, look, it's just fantastic to think that you could go to SueRad.com, her website, and many of these ideas about how to feed your family are on there. We'll go and seek expert help. Thanks so much.
Thanks,
I'm going to
James.
pop into some popcorn here.
Go for it.
All that I'm allowed to eat. In one day.